It's been well documented, the shortage of townhouses or villas here in Dubai. It's a very expensive thing for developers to build. It's not just about building a house, it's about building all the infrastructure that goes around that house and the cost of the land. So it makes more sense for a lot of developers to be building buildings rather than townhouse and villa communities. There are some excellent townhouse and villa communities here in Dubai, but they have seen a lack of supply and therefore a great deal of demand for those properties because of the dynamics of the population that's arriving here. In the past, investors have been asking us for studios and one-bedrooms because they give you the best return on investment, the best rental yield, studios especially. And there is a place for studios in this market for sure. We've got a lot of single people still arriving here, and we've got holidaymakers wanting to Airbnb, etc. But with the increase in families with kids moving here, larger apartments are definitely in demand. But also, we've got the financial aspect of it, which is where townhouses are becoming. They're not in everybody's budget, let's say. So what does that leave us with? Well, the next one down is the 2- and 3-bedroom apartments. We did some, well, not me, but someone much cleverer than me, did some research in our office, and they came up with some figures across 3 different communities. And we looked at the distribution of studios, 1 beds, 2 beds, 3 beds, etc. And some remarkable statistics came out of that. We just look at the amount of studios across these 3 projects. We looked at Arjan, Jumeirah Village Circle, and Dubai Hills Estate. Now, Dubai Hills Estate has very, very few studios in it. They have larger apartments, interestingly, 2s and 3 bedrooms, and a good number of 1 bedrooms as well. But Arjan and JVC, great deal of studios and 1 beds and very few 2s and 3s. But let's look at how those percentages break down. And there are over 19,000 studios across those 3 areas. And that equates to around 26%. We've got 1 bedrooms, 37, almost 38,000 are either built or under construction. That is just touching 50%. Of all properties are 1-bedroom apartments across those areas. 2 bedrooms, just 20%, and 3 bedrooms, and this is where the interesting stuff is under 4% of all properties across those areas are 3-bedroom apartments. Now, why 3 beds are important? Because you can have a 3-bedroom townhouse, and a 3-bedroom townhouse will almost certainly be more expensive, far more expensive to buy and far more expensive to rent than, say, a 3-bedroom apartment. The developers have not built anywhere near enough 3-bedroom apartments, in our opinion. So if you're looking to invest, and maybe you were looking at multiple 1-bedrooms or studios because you think the yield is going to be so much better, I think, and we think as a team, that 3-bedroom apartments are going to be far more in demand just because of the huge lack of supply. And still we're seeing developers launching projects here in Dubai, despite these numbers and despite the population split, we're still seeing them build apartment blocks with more 1-bedrooms than 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms. I get why they're doing it. Any developer would ideally build a building of all studios and 1-bedrooms because they get more money for them, price per square foot, and they'll sell them faster. Essentially, there's a huge lack, in my opinion, of our opinion, it's not even me, 2s and 3 bedrooms as an alternative to townhouses. That's not to say, having said all of that, I mean, in an ideal world, if you've got the budget, buy a townhouse or villa. But if you haven't got the budget, the next one down is a 3-bed or possibly a 2-bed. I'm just thinking about the future and where maybe you would have looked at buying multiple 1-bedrooms or multiple studios, or maybe you're looking at a 1-bedroom in downtown when you could actually buy a 2 or 3-bedroom away from the centre. Maybe the 2 or 3 bed out away from the centre might be a better option in terms of capital growth and rental yield in the future, and now and in the future. The big developers, the Emaars and Damacs and Nikhil, etc., are building townhouse communities. Aldar from Abu Dhabi are building townhouse and villa communities. But there's still many developers out there, perhaps the smaller ones, who are only building, or the majority of their buildings are made up of studios, one bedrooms, and a smattering of two beds. It's very rare to find a building with more than half a dozen three beds in it. Real estate agents and investors are all looking at studios and one bedroom apartments here in Dubai because they're easier to sell, they're more affordable, they have historically given a better rental yield. But my sense is that the way the population is increasing here, and more families that are moving here, and even people who are living here, staying longer, they're meeting their partners, they're having kids, they need larger apartments or townhouses. Not everybody can afford a townhouse. So what's the next best thing? The next best thing is an apartment. And even though maybe you might say, well, an apartment, there's nothing wrong with an apartment. There isn't. A large three-bedroom apartment is really nice. For instance, if you actually look at the living area of most three-bedroom apartments in Dubai, they're far larger. I'm talking about the living room, is often in a three-bedroom bigger than you would find in a townhouse. Plus, you've got a pool downstairs, you've got a gym, you've got concierge, you've got underground parking, and it's more affordable. So to the investor, please take a look at your options. Rather than just concentrating on studios and one bedrooms, look at the two bedrooms and three bedrooms, if it's affordable. But only if it's affordable. There's no point in stretching yourself. If you need any help with off-plan property in Dubai, please get in touch. All my contact details are in the description below.